Good morning and welcome to the Daily Try, the daily podcast that supports you on your fertility journey. My name is Lara and this is episode 28. And today I'm going to talk about judging yourself. First of all, I cannot believe it is nearly the end of August and I have been talking to you guys for nearly a month, which just blows my mind. And second, I'm thinking about next month, September, of bringing in some guests to chat for 10 minutes about different areas such as nutrition. And basically, I'd love to get some feedback if that's something that would be interesting, or if you're happy listening to me drone on, or just thoughts. So love you to write any comments or suggestions on the podcast, or you can drop me an email, hello@hopeful.Hope. So back to today's episode. I think it's very easy to judge yourself for getting too excited or believing it might work. And this episode is for the people that have done that, which I suspect is probably a lot of you. You might be looking at yourself and think, I can't believe I was so excited, I was so hopeful, and it didn't lead to anything, and you feel a bit embarrassed about that. I remember vividly, I was in Sydney, I'd done my second transfer, I'd had a positive pregnancy test, positive blood test, and I was on the beach, and someone knew I'd been away for IVF, and I told them it had worked, and that I was pregnant, and they were all very excited for me, and this was like literally about 2 days after the 2-week wait, like not long. And basically a few days later I miscarried. And now I kind of look back and go, I can't believe A, that I told people at such an early stage, and B, just that I know that I was so excited and so hopeful that it had worked because I'd already had 2 failed attempts. And I guess that's what it's like. You're kind of a bit embarrassed for yourself. Maybe for you it was that you saved a baby name, or maybe you looked at a due date calendar. I've done that as well. I signed up for one of those apps as soon as I thought I was pregnant, and I also signed up for an Instagram account to record my journey, but obviously that didn't last very long. Or maybe you notice every twinge, every wave of tiredness, every bit of spotting during the wait, and let yourself imagine that this could be it. I've done that as well. You get so hopeful about the process, and that this could be the time that you're going to get pregnant. And when it's not, maybe you told yourself, well, you're an idiot. You should have known that it wasn't going to stick. You should have known that it was too early to tell people. You should have known that it was the progesterone that made you feel sick, not the fact you were pregnant. And you kind of beat yourself up about getting your hopes up. But it's really hard not to. And today I want to talk about being kind to that version of you, the version that gets their hopes up, because we've all been there. And you're not silly or an idiot, not foolish. You're just hopeful. And really, I feel like so much of this fertility journey is about hope, because there's so many hoops to jump through and so many things you need to do to actually get pregnant and stay pregnant. And hope is the only thing that keeps you going. If you don't have hope, you would never do it. You look at some of these stats, like, for example, when I went through my egg harvesting, the chance of me getting pregnant, having a live birth with that first egg harvesting at 45 was 2%. 2%. It's like 2 in 100 people. It's like nothing. And so you have to trade on hope, because, the odds are often very stacked against you. And so why would you do it if you didn't hope it was going to work? And so what I'm saying is that just because you're hoping does not mean that you're doing something wrong or you're being unrealistic. It's because I think the only way to get through this is with hope. But we also know that everyone experiences things in different ways. So maybe, you didn't weren't like me and you told people you were pregnant after 2 days after the 2 week wait, but maybe you told someone at week 8 and then you miscarried. Or maybe you told people you're ovulating and you're having sex tonight and this could be the one. Um, and then afterwards you're like, I can't believe I did that. What was I thinking? And it's really hard. And everyone thinks of this and does this in their own way. And often we see signs that we think that means that it will happen. So for me, I thought after my embryo transfers, when I went to Spain, I was living in Australia in Sydney, and I had to get permission to leave the country because it was during COVID. I flew to the UK, then I flew to Spain, had my transfers, then I flew back, then I went back again and had an operation, then I came back to the UK, and then I went back and had another transfer, then I came back to the UK, and I did what felt like it was a million COVID tests. Then I came back to Sydney and I was in hotel quarantine for 2 weeks. And I thought, all of that's got to mean that this has worked. It's got to. This is, it's got to mean that. And you kind of put so much on this. And unfortunately, in my case, it didn't work. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't hope. And that doesn't mean that you're doing the wrong thing. And I think it's only natural to want to hope. And if you became detached and robotic about the whole thing, you probably wouldn't be going through this. And so today I'm saying you're allowed to care, even when it is painful. And all I'm saying is that try and be kind to yourself like you would to a friend. So if a friend told me that they'd gone through everything that I went through to try and get pregnant, I would be like, wow, that's a lot. Yeah, totally. I would think that as well. I would really hope that would all worked. I don't think you're silly for thinking that. Like you flew halfway around the world to try and get pregnant in COVID, and you did all of that effort. Of course, yeah, I would hope as well. Why would you do it otherwise? Or if it's that you're really hoping that today's pregnancy test is going to be a positive one because you feel like all the stars have aligned, or you feel like you've been doing all of the things you need to do, the exercise, the testing, the supplements, the eating well, and you really think that, you're hoping that today it will happen. And if it doesn't, that's just one of those things. And unfortunately, there's nothing you can do about it in that moment, but having hope is a really important part of the process. So today I just want to say, I know how much you wanted it. I know how much I wanted it. And even when you want something that much, it often really hurts when you don't have it, you don't get it. So today, this is a big hug for everyone that has hoped and not got where they want to be, who has wanted something so much and not got it yet. Here's a massive hug and have a wonderful day, and I will be back to talk to you tomorrow.